Shocking truth, poor Maid UNMASKS husband's dark scheme to save billionaire boss at midnight. In the sleepy little town of Dexter's Hollow, where secrets lurked under every beautifully manicured lawn, the clock struck 12, echoing through the echoey streets like a taunt. As the moon bathed the world in a pale glow, a figure cloaked in shadow made their way through the sleeping estate of the wealthy Cartwright family. It was Maya, the maid, and tonight felt different, charged with an energy that made her skin tingle. With trembling hands, she clutched the letter she discovered while cleaning earlier that day, its contents swirling in her mind like a storm. Inside was a scheme dark enough to curl her toes in fear, a plot involving her husband, Jonah, and the powerful billionaire who paid his salary. What kind of trap had he found himself tangled in, and why hadn't he told her? The weight of that thought churned in her stomach like a heavy brick. Maya crept silently past the family portraits, illuminated by the faint light from an ornate chandelier above. The faces frozen in time seemed to stare accusingly at her, and for a flicker, she felt their judgment. Her heart raced, each step producing a whisper of fabric against the plush carpet. She didn't want to find him here, yet an invisible string pulled her deeper into the shadows. Suddenly, she froze, her breath hitching in her throat. Was that a sound? Footsteps approaching? Each echo sent a shiver down her spine as she listened intently. The house was so still it was unnerving, yet the sense of urgency slammed against her like pounding waves. The revelation was too much, she had to confront Jonah. But what if she was too late? The urgency rooted deep in her chest made her feet move faster, the ink on the letter smearing beneath her gripping fingers. Before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Back in the hallway, Maya pressed on, fueled by desperation. She swung around a corner just in time to see Jonah standing in the dim light of the study, his eyes darting nervously. The hurt on his face cut deeper than any blade. "Maya, wait," he stammered, panic amplifying every syllable. But the dread swelled like a tidal wave as she heard it, a low murmur, a voice not belonging to Jonah. What was happening? Her heart thundered as she felt a flash of betrayal, her mind grappling with horror. Could Jonah be in league with this stranger? Was he really trying to save his boss at the cost of everything they'd built? The looming question hung thick in the air, promising devastation. Tension crackled around her, electric and terrifying, as she struggled to breathe. She had stumbled into something far darker and more sinister than she ever imagined. What would she find if she stepped fully into the room, into the truth? Would her belief in Jonah shatter like glass? As the shadows danced around her, she realized it wasn't just a night of revelations, it was the beginning of a nightmare. Maya's heart pounded in her chest as she stood frozen, her body a wire stretched taut. The voice drifted through the door, just beyond the dim glow, wrapping around her in a chilling embrace. It was low and conspiratorial, threading through the air like poison. Was it a threat? A plan? She took a shaky step closer, her instincts battling against the sheer terror that jolted through her. "Jonah, we can't keep doing this." The voice trembled, a man's voice, sharp and cold. Maya's breath caught. She edged a fraction closer, peering through the narrow crack in the door, desperate to spy the truth. There was Jonah, hands on the desk, his face taut, brow knitted in concern and fear. And leaning dangerously close to him was a figure she recognized, Mr. Cartwright's right-hand man, Lyle. It was him, the one who had the boss's ear and the town's secrets. And if she finds out? Lyle pressed, his eyes glinting in the dim light. "You know what's at stake. She'll ruin everything. She'll take you down with her." Her blood ran cold. The wording sank like a stone in her gut. Take you down with her. The implications were raging storms, swirling and chaotic. They were talking about her, and the thought made her stomach churn. Maybe I can. I can tell her the truth. Jonah's voice broke, a crack in the facade that made her want to scream. I can't keep lying to her. Maya deserves to know. But Lyle's laughter cut through the tension, mocking and chilling. Know what? That you're neck deep in a scheme? That you've sold out to Cartwright's empire? You think that LL'll save you? She'll leave, Jonah. It's your choice, keep her in the dark, or lose everything. Those words hung in the air, sharper than a blade. Maya's heart sank with an irreversible weight. How could Jonah even consider it? The betrayal cut deeper than any hidden plot. Pain lanced through her, sharp and cruel. He was willing to keep her in a world of lies for a man who wouldn't think twice about tossing him aside. Lyle, I have to warn you. Jonah's voice was rising now, panic filtering through. Maya, she might already know something. She saw me meeting with you last week by the docks. Maya's breath stuttered. That meeting had been shrouded in secrecy, and the anticipation of discovering her husband's truth sent her spiraling. What could they have discussed that was so dire, so dangerous? Questions piled atop one another, but they wouldn't leave her head now, paralyzed with dread and uncertainty. Then we need to act fast. Lyle's voice dropped to a tense whisper. We can still contain this. You're still in, Jonah, but you need to choose now. Get rid of her, or let her drag you down. It's her or your future. Maya stumbled back from the door, her breath caught like a fish hooked in the river. Her heart raced as her vision fogged. The coldness of Lyle's words rang in her ears. Get rid of her? It felt like the very ground beneath her feet had disappeared. Suddenly, the air was electric, thick with realization. She had to do something. She had to confront him. But what if Jonah chose the world of lies over her? What if she was nothing more than a piece in their cruel game? Maya's chest tightened, and she steadied herself. Taking a deep breath, she gripped the letter tightly, summoning every ounce of courage. The night had dressed itself in shadows and secrets, and she had to face the truth lurking in the study. As she pushed the door open, the tension stretched taut between them, thick enough to cut through. What awaited her beyond was a crossroads of love, betrayal, and deep-seated secrets that would forever alter their lives. The moment had come. Would she find redemption, or would she unearth the final nail in the coffin of their love? Maya stepped into the room like walking onto a landmine. The sudden silence enveloped her, heavy and suffocating, filled with unspoken truths and stinging accusations. Jonah turned, his face a mask painted with shock and guilt. Lyle remained stationary, eyes flicking between the two of them like a vulture awaiting the right moment to strike. Jonah's voice was strained, as if trying to push through a thick fog of fear. Jonah, what is this? Her voice came out sharper than she intended, fueled by a cocktail of fury and betrayal. What does Lyle mean by get rid of her? Are you in danger? Lyle smirked, his confidence brazen as he leaned back, arms crossed over his chest. This is precious. Look at you, all fired up over a man who has been lying to you all along. Stop it. Jonah intervened, his hands lifting in a placating gesture. Maya, I can explain. Explain what? She fired back, heart hammering in her chest. That you're clinging to a life built on deceit? Or that your future hangs on threatening someone you claim to love? What have you done? The room swirled around her as she spoke, the weight of those unanswered questions pressing down. A few seconds ticked by, where silence felt like poison, oozing through with every heartbeat. Jonah's face revealed his internal battle, lips pursed, his expression wavering between guilt and desperation. Maya, please. Jonah stepped forward, but she took a step back, a defensive wall forming between them. Don't come any closer. The words spilled out of her, a shield against the hurt she couldn't bear to confront. The sight of him broke something inside, a shattered reflection of the love they once shared. As I see it, Lyle chimed in, relishing the chaos, you can either trust your husband, who's neck deep in a deal that makes him more like me than you'd imagine, or trust your instincts and run. But if you run, it will be too late. Stop. Jonah peeled his focus back to Lyle, eyes blazing now. You're not helping. This isn't his choice, it's mine. I want to let you decide my life. Maya, I swear it wasn't supposed to end this way. And what way? She whispered, desperation lacing her tone. What did you agree to? What are you involved in? But the answer danced just out of reach, and she could see, in Jonah's eyes, that he was wrestling with more than just his choices. A storm raged within him, one that threatened to consume everything. It's Cartwright, he's involved in something bigger than we thought. I've been keeping tabs on him, Jonah's voice cracked, regret hanging heavy in the air. When I met Lyle I thought I could help. I didn't want you to get caught up in any of this. Caught between a love she once cherished and a present filled with shadows, Maya felt her world tilt on its axis. The man she adored was standing in front of her, yet he was cloaked in a web of deceit. Her pulse quickened with panic and fury, a swirling mix that threatened to spill over. Why didn't you come to me? Why didn't you tell me? Her voice trembled, cracking like ice underfoot. She needed answers, the kind that could bridge the chasm between them or deepen it. I was afraid, Jonah admitted, his honesty almost disarming. I didn't want to lose you. I thought maybe I could fix this without dragging you in. Fix what? She desperately sought the truth, her heart pounding painfully. What are you trying to protect me from? You're already dragging me in. Choose, Jonah. Choose now. The air tensed further as he looked at her, caught between loyalty to a corrupt system and loyalty to the woman who may still love him. Maya, you have to trust me, but trust felt like sand slipping through her fingers. The truth teased at the edges of her understanding, dark and looming, and she needed to make a choice of her own. As she stared at Jonah, an unsettling realization hit her. What if she was next? What if Lyle's threat was merely the beginning of a sinister game, where losing meant something far greater than heartbreak? Maya, listen, Jonah started, taking a step forward again, but at that moment, the sudden clang of something metallic falling echoed through the house, shattering the tense atmosphere. They turned towards it, and the silence that followed felt heavier, more foreboding. What awaited them in the shadows? Would it be a warning or revelation that rocked their fragile world once again? The room felt like it was holding its breath. Maya's heart raced as she shifted her gaze toward the source of the noise. A single gold necklace lay on the floor, its glint an unwelcome reminder of secrets buried deep. Maya, don't! Jonah's warning was cut off by the sudden creak of the floorboards, a warning whisper of footsteps approaching. Lyle's smirk faded, replaced by a tense mask of seriousness. Looks like company's coming. He straightened up, his posture shifted into something predatory. Who? Maya's voice was barely above a whisper, but the word itself felt like a brick in her throat. The air shimmered thickly, a simmering anxiety aptly reflecting the turmoil of her thoughts. Her instincts screamed for her to flee, yet she remained cemented to the spot. Jonah's eyes darted toward Lyle, the tension between the two escalating into something painful. What had really unfolded between them? The truth hung in the air, oppressive and cruel. Suddenly, the front door rattled. A muffled voice echoed from the outside, demanding to be let in. Maya's stomach dropped. Fear coiled tightly around her chest as she recognized the voice. It belonged to Deputy Sheriff Claire Adams, a name that stung like a slap in the face. Maya, stay back, Jonah whispered. He turned to Lyle, a blend of defiance and desperation in his tone. Get out of here. Now. Lyle's expression morphed into something sinister. You think she's going to protect you? This is just a glimpse of what's coming, Jonah. But don't worry, I'll take care of things. With a sidelong glance at Maya, he slipped through the back door as swiftly as the shadow he resembled. The crack of the door was like thunder. Maya turned toward Jonah, her heart aching. "You were working with him? Is this what you've been hiding? How deep is this, Jonah?" "Shoo. We can't talk like this," Jonah said urgently, glancing over his shoulder. "If Claire finds out what? That you're involved in something illegal? That you've been lying to me? That you're a part of whatever Lyle dragged you into?" Her voice rose, filled with an impending sense of hopelessness. "We have to prepare for what's next," he urged, taking a step toward her. "But trust me, I'm not guilty of anything horrible. You have to believe that." But how could she? The cracks in their relationship were widening, and every word he said sounded increasingly desperate. "Maya! Open up!" The shout from the deputy echoed once more, sending her into a spiral of panic. "We know someone is here. This is a police matter." A pulse of dread raced through her. The truth flooded back the previous whispers of deals gone wrong, the rumors about Cartwright. What if they were here for more than a simple investigation? What if they were converging on Jonah? "Jonah, we need to think fast," she said, her voice trembling but firm. "If they find you here, everything will unravel. We can't let that happen. You need to run." He shook his head, emotions swirling like a tempest in his eyes. "I can't leave you. Not now." Another pound at the door. "I'm coming in." Claire shouted, a heavy-handed certainty to her voice. Maya felt paralyzed, the weight of their choices crushing around her. She caught Jonah's gaze, seeking the spark of resolve that she once adored. Would he truly protect her if it came down to it? "Please, Jonah," she urged, tears stinging the corners of her eyes. As the door began to burst open, their world shook. In that moment, the decision loomed, heavy and unavoidable. Would she stand by the man who had become a stranger, or would she take the other path? With a flash of insight, a wild thought surged through her. What if trusting Jonah could lead to salvation or, just as easily, to their doom? What if betrayal was the only truth left intact? As the door flew wide open. "Maya!" She heard Jonah call as shadows spilled into the room, darkness looming suddenly larger than life. The moment had come. An innocent facade or a life-altering revelation? The door slammed against the wall, a deafening crash that stirred the dust in the air like a dislodged memory. Deputy Sheriff Claire Adams stood framed in the doorway, her eyes sharp and searching. The space felt frozen, suffocated under the weight of unspoken truths. Maya could see determination etched on Claire's face, but behind her steely resolve, there was a flicker of something else, concern or perhaps pity. "Maya?" Claire's voice sliced through the tension. "We need to talk. Move aside." Jonah stepped up, his posture protective, a wall built alongside betrayal. "She doesn't know anything, Claire," he shouted, an urgency sweeping through his words like a desperate plea. Maya's heart quickened as the layers of this twisted mess unraveled before her. "Get out of the way, Jonah," Claire commanded, her voice a thunderstorm. "No!" Maya cried out, her tone sharper than she intended. It felt like a sudden burst of defiance. "You don't understand." Claire's eyes widened briefly, caught off guard by Maya's intensity. "Then help me understand. Who is Lyle? Why is he involved in this?" Jonah opened his mouth to speak, but no words came. His face twisted with conflict. "Maya!" Claire called with an urgency that drew Maya's attention. "If he's in danger, we need to act." Danger. The word hung thick in the air, and everything spiraled. Maya felt as if she were standing at the edge of a cliff, the ground crumbling beneath her feet. Was Jonah really in danger, or was this some calculated conspiracy? The gold necklace on the floor felt like a symbol of all that had been lost, glittering mockingly against the gritty truth creeping closer. The whispers of the past buzzed in her mind, deals that had gone wrong, murky exchanges, unspeakable motives. Her thoughts were jumbled, a chaotic cascade that soured into something dark. "Jonah, what did you do?" she asked, her own voice trembling with fear and disillusionment. She didn't want to believe the worst, but her instincts screamed at her. "Nothing. I swear, it's complicated." He breathed, stepping forward to grab her shoulders. His touch sparked in her chest, igniting a shred of hope. "Maya, I'm trying to protect you." "Protect me?" she scoffed, pulling back from his grip as if it scalded her. "You're wrapped up in this mess. Please." His voice cracked, the rawness of emotion betraying his carefully structured facade. "You need to trust me." Before she could respond, a crash echoed from the hallway. The sound sliced through the moment, abrupt and jarring. Both Claire and Maya exchanged alarmed glances. "Sheriff's department. Everyone stay where you are." A second voice rang out, authoritative and determined. The urgency of the moment tightened the air further. "What the hell is happening?" Maya whispered, terror rising to a crescendo in her throat. If backup had arrived, what did that mean for all of them? Would they be on the run, or was it too late for that? "Maya, we need to go," Jonah urged, grabbing her hand, his desperation palpable. "No." She fought back, struggling against his grip. "What will happen if we run? You need to face this." "Maya, I want to let them take you. I can handle this." Another crash resonated from the hallway. Chaos was closing in. "They're coming." Claire's voice gripped them, urgency fueling her. Maya's mind raced. There was a line drawn, the divide between loyalty and preservation. She turned to Jonah, searching for answers in his distressed eyes. "You have to tell me the truth," she demanded, but before he could respond, Claire stepped in. "If you don't speak up, we'll have no choice but to treat you both as suspects." With every second ticking into chaos, she felt tossed between trust and betrayal. The ever-present shadows loomed larger, and the decisions made in this moment could either shatter everything or build a bridge back to safety. Just as thoughts began to crystallize, a shadow darted past the door fast and fluid, a silhouette cloaked in the dark. "They're coming for you," yelled someone from the hallway. "Jonah!" Maya screamed, panic ripping through her chest. But as she looked toward him, something shifted in his gaze, something deeply jagged, a shard of darkness. Was he really protecting her, or was the real danger standing right beside her? The distance between love and horror blurred dangerously. What would she discover when the truth bared its fangs once and for all? The urgency filled the air like smoke, thick and suffocating. Maya could hardly breathe, the world around her narrowing to the frantic thrum of her heartbeat. Claire's eyes darted toward the doorway, assessing the threat beyond. The tension in the room was palpable, every second stretching into eternity. "Stay close to me, Maya," Claire ordered, her authority slicing through the chaos. "Jonah, step back. Now." Maya's pulse quickened. "What do you mean, step back?" "You can't." Just a heavy crash echoed again, shattering the fragile calm that clung to the room. The sound sent shards of ice down her spine. More voices joined the fray in the hallway, menacing and laced with urgency. "Get on the ground. Now." This time, the command was followed by the unmistakable sound of boots pounding the floor. Jonah's grip tightened around her wrist, his face a storm of desperation. "This isn't how it's supposed to go. We can fix this." "Fix what?" Maya retorted, pulling away. Fear twisted in her gut. "What are you hiding? This is not just about us anymore." Claire moved with purpose, her hands poised as if ready to draw her weapon. "Maya, if there is something you know about Lyle or the other deals Jonah was mixed up in, you need to tell me. We don't have time for secrets." Jonah's eyes flickered, a hint of something feral spiraling in their depths. "You don't know what you're asking," he hissed, his tone dangerously low. "I'm protecting you from a lot more than just the cops." "Protecting me or yourself?" Maya shot back, a wave of anger crashing over her. Because right now, I don't know who to trust. Before Jonah could respond, a loud crash erupted, and the door flew open. Four uniformed officers charged into the room like a whirlwind, their eyes scanning for threats. The sight twisted Maya's stomach into knots, a mix of dread and disbelief. "Hands where we can see them!" shouted one of the officers, his gaze locking onto Jonah. "You're under arrest." "Wait. No!" Maya cried, instinctively stepping between Jonah and the officers. "He hasn't done anything wrong. Get out of the way." Another officer barked, and the tension surged as the situation teetered on the brink of chaos. "Please. Just listen," Jonah implored, his voice breaking. "It's my fault, I'll explain everything." "Maya, please." The sparks of betrayal ignited again, and Maya's heart raced. Could she believe him? The confusion shaped itself into clarity as she faltered in her decision. The shadows of the past loomed larger, and the darkness of Jonah's secrets pressed against her. "No!" Claire intervened, moving swiftly to restrain Jonah as he tried to resist. "We don't have time to argue. The truth is the only thing that can save you both right now." The officers moved in closer, demanding compliance as they cuffed Jonah. A flash of fear crossed his face, blending with something darker. "Maya, I didn't mean for any of this to happen," he said, fear now mingling with desperation. "There's something you don't understand about Lyle. It's bigger than you think." As the officers pulled Jonah toward the door, panic surged through Maya like wildfire. "You're lying!" she yelled, her voice breaking with emotion. "Whatever it is, it can't be worse than what's happening right now." Jonah's eyes burned with intensity, filled with urgency and a plea she couldn't ignore. "Maya, if I go down, you're going with me. They'll come for you next. Just trust me please." A cascade of memories flooded her mind, moments of love, laughter, and a bond she thought invulnerable. But those memories twisted into the turmoil of betrayal, anger rippling beneath the surface. As he disappeared into the hallway, Claire faced her with steely resolve. "We need to find Lyle. Now. He holds the key to all of this." Maya nodded, steeling herself for what lay ahead. The fractures of trust lay raw, but with the danger closing in, she knew she had to confront the truth, however horrifying it might be. Suddenly, a chill enveloped her, and she realized with mounting dread that the shadows surrounding Jonah were far darker than she'd ever imagined. "But how do we even begin?" she whispered, feeling small against the enormity of it all. With the weight of the world on her shoulders, she stepped toward the doorway, ready to dive into the storm, knowing the answers she sought would reveal more than she could ever prepare for. What would Lyle reveal about Jonah's entanglement? Was it too late to trust him, or was danger truly lurking closer than she thought? Maya stepped into the hallway, her heart pounding like a drum. Shadows danced along the walls, cast by the flickering light above. Claire was close behind her, fierce and determined, yet Maya could feel the confusion swirling between them like a storm. "Do you really think Lyle will have the answers?" Maya asked, her voice carrying a tremor of doubt. She wanted to believe in Claire's confidence, but doubt clawed at her insides. "He has to," Claire said, her tone resolute. "He's deeply involved in this. If we find him, I can interrogate him, find out what Jonah was keeping from us." They navigated the narrow corridor toward the staircase, each footfall echoing ominously. The chaos of the recent rush felt like a dream, but the fear coursing through Maya was all too real. What if Lyle was the one pulling the strings? Or worse, what if there was no way out of this mess? As they descended the stairs, a soft but distinct scuffle emerged from the ground floor. Maya's breath hitched in her throat, and her eyes darted toward Claire, who raised a cautionary hand. They pressed against the wall, ears straining to catch more of the unfolding drama. "Let go of me. I didn't do anything," a voice protested, thick with panic. It was Jonah. The desperate tone shredded Maya's heart. Her instincts screamed at her to rush down and help him, but Claire's hand on her arm kept her in place. "I'll handle this," Claire whispered, determination set in her features. With quick, controlled movements, she inched closer to the railing to peer down. Maya's mind raced, torn between wanting to trust Claire's judgment and the stirring need to protect Jonah. Why was he in such danger? She felt the weight of the moment pressing down harder. Just as Claire was about to take a step forward, a loud crash erupted, followed by a series of muffled curses. Suddenly, the chaos exploded. A tall figure dashed into view, and before Maya could understand what was happening, an officer lunged, fumbling his grip. Jonah seized the moment, pushing against the officer and breaking free. They locked eyes, and for a fleeting second, all the turmoil melted away. "Maya!" Jonah shouted, dread lining his features. "Get out! Run!" Before she could process his order, Claire sprang into motion. "Maya, go!" she shouted, commanding under current pressure. In that instant, instinct took over. Maya turned to flee, adrenaline propelling her feet. She raced toward the exit, her breath ragged. The sound of boots pounding behind her was all-consuming, rising and falling like waves crashing on the shore. "Stop!" one of the officers barked, but she pushed ahead, refusing to look back. Her heart pounded, echoing in her ears, drowning out the chaos of shouts and chaos her surroundings had erupted into. As she burst through the front doors, the cool night air hit her, sharp and electric. She could feel the world outside, the threat, the danger, everything that pulled her into Jonah's web. Think. She muttered as she leaned against the wall, frantically searching for clarity amid the chaos. Her heartbeat slowed only slightly as she glanced around. The street was empty, a stark contrast to the turmoil she had left behind. Then she saw at a flicker of movement, a figure slipping into the alley beside the building. Lyle? Could it be? Maya felt an instinctive urge to pursue. It might be her only chance for the truth. Ignoring the warning bells ringing in her mind, she darted toward the alley, hesitating only for a moment to glance back. The officers were still swarming the front entrance, their shouts growing distant as they searched for Jonah. The shadows beckoned her down the alley. She rushed into the darkness, praying she wasn't running toward a trap. What if Lyle was waiting for her, armed with more danger than she could fathom? Or was he just as scared, hiding something crucial she needed to face? With each step deeper into the shadows, the thrill of fear surged in her veins. "What are you hiding, Lyle?" she whispered into the void, knowing the answer could change everything. The night wasn't done with its revelations, and Maya was ready to uncover whatever lay ahead. But as she turned the corner, her heart stopped. A figure stood silhouetted against the faint glow of a streetlight. It was Lyle, his expression unreadable. "Glad you could join me," he said, a sly smile creeping across his face. A sense of foreboding wrapped around Maya. "What is going on? What do you know about Jonah?" Lyle only smirked, leaning against the wall as if he were waiting for her. "You still have no idea what you're diving into, do you?" A chill found its way into her bones as she stepped closer, her breath shallow. Could she unravel this mystery, or would she find herself ensnared in a trap? "Tell me everything," she demanded, standing on the edge of a dark abyss. But was she ready for the truth? Maya's pulse quickened as she took a step closer, eager and terrified all at once. The shadows clung to them like a shroud, amplifying the tension crackling in the air between her and Lyle. She could barely make out the details of his face, but the glint in his eyes gave nothing away. "Do you think you're ready for the truth?" Lyle asked, tilting his head slightly, the smirk never leaving his lips. "I don't have time for games, Lyle," Maya shot back, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. "Jonah's in trouble, and I need answers." Lyle pushed off the wall and stepped closer, the shadows sculpting his features into a facade of serenity. "Trouble? Oh, Maya, he's in deep, but not in the way you think." Her stomach twisted at his words. What do you mean? What is he mixed up in? He took a breath, as if savoring her anxiety. The deal with his father, it goes way beyond the surface. Jonah's wrapped up in something much darker, and the cops? They're just scratching the surface. Maya's mind raced. Each word felt like daggers, cutting deeper into her understanding of Jonah's world. What is it? Just tell me. Lyle's demeanor shifted. He had a seriousness to him now, a sharp edge. The truth is a dangerous thing. Are you sure you want to know? Maya swallowed hard, the coolness of the alley contrasting sharply with the heat pooling in her chest. Yes. I've already lost too much. I need to protect him. Lyle chuckled darkly. Protecting him, what a noble thought. But there are things that might change your mind about him. She clenched her fists, frustration boiling over. Stop being cryptic. Just say it. His face grew serious, his eyes narrowing. Fine. Jonah's been working with those higher up, people who actually pull the strings. He's trying to save the family business, but he's also taking risks that could ruin him or worse. A rush of disbelief flooded her. What are you saying? He's involved in something illegal? Illegal? More like criminally insane. He's in way over his head, collaborating with some dangerous people. Lyle leaned closer, lowering his voice. And now they're on to him. They won't stop until they get what they want. Maya took a shaky breath, a stark reality slamming against her chest. So, he's in danger, but why aren't you working with him? Why are you here? What's your connection to this? His smile returned, but it was cold, devoid of warmth. I'm only here to help you uncover the truth. Whether you can handle it is your problem. Maybe even the way to save him if it's not too late. Images of Jonah's desperate face flared in her mind. Every moment spent together now re-examined through a lens of suspicion and fear. Her heart tightened painfully. Was it possible to love someone who danced this close to the edge? What do I need to do? Maya whispered, a sense of determination sinking in as the gravity of the situation clamped around her like a vice. No going back now, Lyle replied, glancing down the alley as if sensing danger. You need to meet the people who truly hold the power in this game. Only then can you understand why Jonah's being chased like a rat. Just as he finished speaking, a loud commotion erupted at the end of the alley. Shouting voices drew nearer, the sound of frantic footsteps echoing harshly against the brick walls. Maya's heart dropped. What now? Are we in danger? Lyle stepped back into the shadows, his demeanor shifting once again. You'd better keep your head low and trust me. It's now or never. A chill ran down her spine as she felt the walls closing in around her, uncertainty clawing at her resolve. Was this the ally she needed or a wolf in sheep's clothing? Then, the unmistakable form of a police officer appeared at the alley entrance. There. Stop. Maya's heart raced as she turned to Lyle. What do I do? But Lyle was already moving back into the dark, melting away like smoke. Find me later. Whatever you do, don't get caught. With the officer advancing, panic surged inside her. Was this a chance to expose the truth or a point of no return? Desperate, she took off in the opposite direction, but one thought echoed relentlessly. What if she couldn't trust anyone anymore? Clarity befuddled, Maya dove deeper into the night, not knowing if she was running toward freedom or into the heart of the storm. Adrenaline coursed through Maya's veins, propelling her forward into the murky depths of the city. Every echo of her footsteps seemed amplified against the silence of the alley, a haunting metronome counting down to an uncertain fate. She sprinted across the street, heart hammering, glancing back over her shoulder. The officer was yelling something, but the words were drowned out by the incessant thrumming of her pulse in her ears. Fear twisted in her stomach like a knife. Lyle's hollow warning echoed in her mind. The longer she ran, the more questions clawed at her. Who could she trust? Maya ducked around a corner into a more populated area, the bustle of nightlife wrapping around her like a security blanket. But even the laughter and music felt ominous, as if shadows lurked just out of sight, waiting for the right moment to strike. She weaved through throngs of people, desperate for a moment of clarity, her thoughts racing back to Jonah. His face appeared in her mind, vulnerable and stressed, caught in a web of betrayal she couldn't even fathom. What dark secrets had he hidden behind that charming smile? Was he really the man she thought he was? Suddenly, as she turned onto a quieter street, a flash of movement caught her eye. A figure loomed ahead, and for a fleeting second, hope sparked within her. But the dull realization hit her like ice water, she had no idea who it was. "Get a grip, Maya," she whispered to herself, anxiety pitching her voice high. A shadow passed beneath a street lamp too familiar. "Jonah?" She called out, heart leaping, yet her tone dripped with hesitation. The figure paused, turning to her. It was him. His face was pale, shadowed with worry. "Maya? What are you doing here?" Relief tugged at her chest as she closed the distance. "You don't understand. I found out things about you," she said, barely recognizing the trembling in her voice. "What things?" Jonah's eyebrows knitted together, his eyes scanning their surroundings. "Are you okay? You shouldn't be here. It's not safe." "I know," Maya said quickly, glancing over her shoulder again. "I met Lyle. He told me everything about your deals, your father, the risks." His face tightened, betraying a flood of emotion she couldn't interpret. "Lyle? He has no right to come to you. It's too late for me, Maya. You need to get away." Her chest felt heavy. "Get away? No. Jonah, I can help you. I refuse to run and leave you to face whatever mess you've gotten into. I won't abandon you." His eyes softened for just a moment, revealing layers of pain that mirrored her own. "You don't understand the people I'm dealing with. This is a different world." Just then, a loud shout erupted from the entrance of the street. Maya looked up, dread flooding through her. The officer she'd seen earlier, flanked by two partners, was moving toward them, their flashlights cutting through the night like beams of judgment. "Jonah!" she hissed, tugging his arm. "We have to go. Now." They rushed into an alley just as the officers rounded the corner. Silence erupted around them, the kind that left a physical weight in the air. Maya pressed her back against the cold brick wall, her breath shallow and quick. "Are they looking for you?" she asked, urgency dripping from her words. "Yes, because of the cover-up," Jonah replied, his voice low, nearly breaking. "It's worse than you think, Maya. I've got people after me, dangerous people." What was he hiding? The tension felt like a taut string ready to snap, and as the officers passed, voices trailing off, she turned to Jonah. "We can figure this out, but we need to move. We can't just hide here forever." He nodded, determination creeping into his features. "I know a place, but we have to be quick. They're closer than you think." As they ducked back into the night, uncertainty clawed at her. Would this lead her to the truth or deeper into the darkened depths? Just then, a familiar voice echoed from behind, the last thing Maya wanted to hear. "Maya. Jonah. Don't run." Her heart dropped as she recognized Lyle's shadow inching toward them, a dangerous glint in his eye. In that instant, she realized the night was far from over and the real game was just beginning. The air felt electric as Maya turned to face Lyle, fear surging like a tidal wave. "Lyle, what do you want?" she demanded, her voice trembling but resolute. He stepped closer, eyes gleaming with amusement and something darker. "You're in deep, Maya. Really deep. But I came to help if you choose the right side." "What? The right side? Is that what you call dragging me into your mess?" Maya's hands trembled, clenching into fists as she faced the harbinger of chaos. She hated that he was right, they were all caught in an intricate web, and she could feel the strands tightening around her neck. Listen, Lyle continued, his voice low, the cops are crawling like roaches, but Jonah's bigger problem is those who have hedged their bets on him. They'll wipe the floor with him if he doesn't fix this. Jonah shifted beside her, a wall of tension radiating from his body. I don't need your help, Lyle, he shot back, anguish boiling beneath his surface. Get lost before you cause more harm. But Lyle smirked, unaffected by Jonah's anger. Harm? You can't truly push this away, Jonah. Turning your back won't save you. It's about survival now. Maya felt the day's tragedy converge around her, the pressure building in her chest as she pushed against it. There must be another way, she said, desperation coloring her words. We can find a solution without the lies. But Lyle shook his head. It's too late for that. You'll have to play the game if you want to both survive and save Jonah. Are you in? Maya hesitated, swirling thoughts battling like a thunderstorm in her mind. Could she latch on to Lyle? Could she really trust someone who smelled of deceit? But it dawned on her, trust had already eroded, and this was a chance to save Jonah or lose him forever. Fighting her instinct to flee, she steadied her breath. What's the move then? She asked, locking eyes with Lyle. The resolve that paved her way began to grow. Lyle's demeanor shifted slightly, he leaned closer, lowering his voice. Meet me tomorrow night at the docks. I'll offer you a way out, a chance for Jonah to escape the real enemies. Come alone. Why should I trust you? She shot back, her walls of skepticism still high. Because I too have something at stake. This is for your boyfriend, but also for me to survive, he said, his tone grave. Jonah's expression darkened further, panic flaring in his eyes. Maya, don't listen to him. But Maya shook her head, torn. If Lyle holds the keys, then we can't just run. We need to know what we're up against. The night stretched around them, thick with uncertainty. Then suddenly, she heard the echoing sound of footsteps, heavy and relentless. Officers were getting closer, beating the pavement, and panic surged through them both. Get out of sight! She shouted, her heart racing. Maya sprinted into the nearby shadows, praying Jonah followed. Lyle faded into the darkness behind them, smirking, leaving them hanging between choices that felt too high stakes. In a heartbeat, the officer's voice cut through the night air. Jonah! We know you're here. You're under arrest. Maya's blood ran cold at the sound, dread coiling in her stomach. We have to split up, she panted, adrenaline pumping through her veins. I'll distract them, you take the back alley to safety. No. Jonah pleaded. I want to let you do that. I refuse to leave you behind. But there was no time. The footsteps were closer, the shouting growing more intense. It was now or never. Go! She yelled firmly, shoving him toward the side alley as she ducked behind a large dumpster. With a swift gut-wrenching embrace, Jonah hesitated, his eyes filled with love and sorrow. I'll come back for you. He shouted as he darted into the shadows, disappearing just as the officers surged into view. Which way did he go? One officer shouted, and Maya's heart raced with fierce urgency. This was her chance to be the protectress, if only for a moment. She stepped into the light, hands raised. He went this way. She cried, pointing away from Jonah's path. Stop. Don't move. Demanded the sheriff, eyes piercing through her frame. She could feel the weight of their judgment as they approached. Every instinct screamed at her to run, but she held her ground, feigning ignorance. Get back here. The sheriff barked, striding toward her with purpose. Maya caught a glimpse of Jonah darting down the alley behind. She could only hope he was out of their view. Suddenly, they noticed him slipping away. There! One officer shouted. We've got him. Go! They ran past her, leaving her exposed, her heart racing from the rush of adrenaline mixed with fear. She was in a dangerous game now, and she could feel Lyle's web tightening around her. Catching her breath, Maya ducked back into the shadows, her mind racing. Tomorrow night at the docks it would be her chance to uncover the truth, but also a risk of falling deeper into Lyle's grip. It wasn't just about Jonah anymore, it was all or nothing now. But as she made her way back into the shelter of darkness, one thing became painfully clear: this night would haunt her until the ends of time, swirling through her with questions unanswered and a love teetering on the edge. She had joined the game, but what would she discover when she pulled the strings? No turning back now, and now, as we reach the end of this wild ride, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and help us grow. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories. Let me know what you think about this conclusion. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this epic finale. Your engagement makes all the difference.